This video marks a lot of firsts. It's my first video since rebranding. So in my last video, I took a poll to see if you wanted to keep my name the same, or my channel name the same, or change it to Mad About Medine. But then I realized I wanted to shorten it to All the Jedi, rather than Mad About Medine, or I Am All the Jedi. So now we are All the Jedi. That's funny. Anyway, this is also my first video recording in the rain. So if the audio quality is bad, that's why. And lastly, this is my very first video talking about a comic. And Age of the Republic Qui-Gon Jinn 1 is the very first Star Wars comic I've read. And really the only comic I read, unless you count like Calvin and Hobbes and like the cartoons in the newspaper. But other than that, this is a new experience for me, so let's get into it. Age of Republic Qui-Gon Jinn 1 was, I don't know. I didn't have much expectations going into it. I didn't know what to expect. I wasn't sure if I'd like the format. I didn't know if I'd be revolted by it. And I guess I liked the format. I see the appeal. I don't love this form of storytelling. I do enjoy the artistic nature, and I do feel like it appeals to a wider audience, so I feel like more people are likely to read a Star Wars comic than a book. So I get why a lot of Star Wars stories are told through comics. But for me, I prefer reading books to reading comics, so maybe this just wasn't for me. Like Qui-Gon, I'm a male with long hair in a galaxy full of men with short hair. But that doesn't really matter because a lot of people in Star Wars have long hair, so... But Qui-Gon's actually a pretty cool character. I love how... I'm not sure how I describe him. He's... Okay, you know in Legends, the Grey Jedi? He's I guess, kind of a Grey Jedi. He's more neutral. And he'll do things, like he'll go against the council. He'll do things that he considers to be the best possible answer. And so in this book, or not book, so accustomed to saying book, in this comic, basically it's not very clear, but he's protecting like a priestess lady named Thayer, who protects her wood, and oh my. She is so annoying. She's just like, oh no, I'm surrounded by metal buildings. Oh, grow up. I mean, Coruscant, it may be my favorite planet. I know it's not everyone's. I know a lot of people hate it, and I can see why. But she's just so whiny about everything. And she's like, I am revolted by this place. And then she just sits there when she's on Coruscant and does nothing. And it's not until Qui-Gon goes on a journey, has weird force visions, then returns and tells her to gain support, like rally support, when she actually does something. I mean, come on, lady. There is a little bit of Obi-Wan action, and I'm not the biggest Obi-Wan fan. I probably mentioned that in my last video, which is about Master and Apprentice. I'll link it above. But, yeah, Obi-Wan just kind of gets on my nerves. He's not fun. He's just a little boring. He does as he's told. And I appreciate that in Master Apprentice, he sort of starts to learn how to do things for himself, which is good, because I have an issue where I need to, like, I'm an obliger. I don't like feeling like people around me are not happy. Like, I need to make sure everyone around me is good before I make sure I'm good. And I feel like Obi-Wan needs to learn how to do this, and I feel like in Master and Apprentice he does some of this, but come on, Obi. You should be better. My New Year's resolution was actually to be more selfish. It hasn't really gone that well so far. So I don't think this video will be very long. I'm just going to go over my thoughts. And then I will review it. And since it's like 24 pages, I don't see why I need to talk that much about it. But here goes. So we start out with Qui-Gon protecting Thayer, and he's deflecting blasts, and then he calls Obi-Wan to get them off the planet. So they go to Coruscant, and Thayer is, as I mentioned, disgusted by the metal city. And really, Thayer, be better. Just be better. Thayer was not my favorite. Thayer. It was a weird name. I don't know. Anyway, on Coruscant, Qui-Gon speaks with Yoda, and Qui-Gon is feeling uncomfortable about his position as a great warrior. And so he goes on a spiritual journey. He goes in his Jedi Starfighter to some strange dark side world, and he meditates there, and he has this weird vision, and there's these plants. I don't know, maybe I interpreted it weirdly. That's another thing. In this format, you can't really tell exactly what's going on. I don't know. And then once he returns, he tells Thayer that she needs to rally support in the Senate, and then he talks to Yoda, and it's over. Yeah, it was a short comic, shorter than I was expecting. It was okay. It wasn't as good as anything I've read so far, so I'm going to put it at the level of Jedi Knight. That's right, Anakin, stay there.
You shall be granted a seat on the council, but you will not be a Jedi Master.
Sorry, that's just me being my normal weird self. Anyway, this is definitely a Jedi Knight story. Jedi Knight rating story. There's not much action, except for at the very beginning. There's not much depth. I do like the growth of Qui-Gon, and I totally understand his struggle, and it's very much so. Okay, I'm a fan of Barriss Offee, so I'm gonna say it. It's a very similar to Barriss Offee's, her whole situation, and I feel like they both struggle with their roles as warriors because they feel like they should be peacekeepers, not commanders and generals in the war. And I know Qui-Gon didn't fight in the war, but he was still a warrior. And I don't know. I wonder what would have happened if Qui-Gon had stayed alive and maybe interacted with Barriss a little. I feel like he would have been a great mentor for her, and she probably wouldn't have turned to the dark side if it hadn't been for him. Or if it hadn't, if he'd been there for her, if he'd been her mentor, I feel like she would be an excellent Jedi Knight, and she'd probably get a seat on the council eventually because, if Order 66 hadn't happened and all that stuff. But had she lived into her later years as a Jedi, with Qui-Gon's support, I feel like Barriss would have been a very influential member of the Jedi Order, rather than just some separatist terrorist. But aside from Barriss Offee, as I said, Qui-Gon's growth is great. Master Yoda is in it. It's Yoda. Not much to say. Just Yoda being Yoda. I do feel like this would be a great, prologue to a book about, a book that's novelizing those episodes of Clone Wars where Yoda is, going off on that spiritual journey guided by Qui-Gon's ghost. That would be, I feel like that would be a cool way to bridge those stories. Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, Qui-Gon is definitely one of my preferred prequel characters. Obi-Wan's fine. He's a little annoying. Anakin's whiny, but, he's okay. Padme's awesome. Mace Windu's kind of a jerk. Who else? Palpatine is amazing. I mean, I hate him, and he's horrible, but he's amazing. One last thing, so Mad About Maydeen didn't work for me, but I am going to be starting a new segment that's Mad About Maydeen, where I talk about all my favorite minor and major, but mostly minor, Star Wars characters. So yeah, announcement time. So I guess that's it. Gets the rank of Jedi Knight, so 3 stars. Yeah. May the Force be with you.